millions. I'm not talking a couple thousand. Like, it is like 10% of new car sales. Don't get me wrong, it took 20 years for them to get there, or call it 15 years since the first compliance cars are coming out, and this is so early in the boating space. Most of these people can't even see it, and whenever I try to convince somebody to put in charging stations, I offer to host an event there and show them, like, hey, I'll host a mini boat show. I'll bring 4 to 8 boats over here, invite everybody out, and I will fill your entire parking lot with people interested in electric boats. Or sometimes all it takes is, we call it butts and boats. I will bring a boat over or two, give them a ride, and that's when the light bulb goes off, and it's like, aha, this makes sense. I get it. But a lot of times it's hard to get to those decision makers. It's the manager that's stonewalling you, and no, they're not going to be interested in electric boats. It's like, they're not interested in a free amenity. Like, would they have turned down a free fuel pump or a free Wi-Fi for their docks? Like, this is $100,000 amenity, and it's sometimes difficult to give it away for free. And I love the irony there, because I used to do it when I was at Tesla. I worked for the charging infrastructure program, and we'd give away free chargers back then. And I would get malls and hotels and shopping centers like, nah, we'll keep an eye on the industry. It doesn't make sense. It's like, what do you have to lose? These are free. There's no contract for this. You're just too narrow-minded to just use a little bit of critical thinking skills. It's mind-boggling.
And I think about that now. When I vacation, especially in cities, I try to get a Tesla Model 3. It's just an easy car it's just a very easy car to drive. Some of the autopilot, for me, it just makes a lot of sense. And I stay at hotels that have chargers.
Right.
And I won't stay at one that doesn't.
Same. We plan all of our trips, our Airbnbs, everything on it. Like, electricity is cheap and plentiful. So even if they charge you for it, which most of them don't, because it's half the time it's not worth it. But like, on average, electricity costs $1 per hour that you're there using it. And most cars will be done in 10 to 12 hours if you have an empty battery. So for them to attract you to their place of business to stay at a hotel for a week, and that acquisition cost is $10 in electricity, like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. So just jumping back to the marine end, it's funny how, like, the marine business is sort of almost following step by step what the carp business did. But with the charging network at the actual, like the marinas, the slips, really the biggest hurdle they have is just getting enough power and just adding additional lines to charge these things, and then getting business owners that are willing to set up charging stations at restaurants, where places, it's not a final destination, but it's a destination along a route. And that's where you see the industry is headed.
Yeah, and it's like there's a couple components to that. Like, most of our boats can charge perfectly fine on dual 30s or just a regular 50 amp shore power. You don't need special adapters or connections. Like, it's the charge cable that comes with the boat that can plug into that. And that's what most people charge at home as well. But a lot of these marinas, they half the time when you approach a utility company and say, hey, I want more power, here's the demand I'm going to have, that utility company will cover those make-ready costs, because they want to be able to sell you more electricity. And especially once you dangle out a fast charger out there, they are excited about it. So there usually isn't a massive upfront infrastructure cost to get more electricity to your site, like, compared to fuel. I mean, we're getting quotes for adding fuel to our bigger marina. It's going to be just short of $1 million, literally $1 million. It's crazy how much it's going to cost. And then the hazards with it are outrageous. It's like, now I've got tanks, they need it inspected all the time. Like, it's just such a huge headache. But we realize, like, gas and diesel isn't going anywhere. Like, that's going to be here for quite a few decades. And then there's going to be those applications where electric might not ever solve, and we're very realistic and down to earth when that comes into play. And so, like, we're going to be adding fuel to this marina.
I think that's smart. And you have the perfect mindset on it, that it is not a one size fits all, but it makes a ton of sense. And we're repeating ourselves here, but it makes a ton of sense for so many different things, which is what gets me excited. And the noise is one of the things that gets me excited also, because there's so many times where you get, dinner cruise and you just want to putt. And I've been in a big V8 IO driven boat before, and it's the constant humming and whining of the engine. It's just like, it's just silent. And for anyone that hasn't experienced it, it's amazing.
That's why we do so much advocating to go to these events and put people out there. Even if you're not a buyer, like, come for a boat ride, you will experience it and you will get it. Just like your first ride in an electric car. It's like, once you've driven in it, it's silent, you feel that instant torque. It's like, okay, I get why people would like this. And that's our goal. We're not here to shove it down anybody's throat. I just need you by the end of this conversation to understand that there is a fit for this stuff. And we were just at the Bay Bridge Boat Show, and there was a guy there who I took him for a ride. He was a sailboater, and he was just laughing while we were out there cruising to get out of this marina. And he's like, this is so silent. He said, I've got no fumes. I was like, yeah, most people don't, they don't realize how big of a benefit that is. And he was telling me, he's like, man, there was a time I had a tailwind on my sailboat, and we were going up the river, and he said he had to keep tacking side to side because the fumes were building up at the back of his boat, and all of his guests were getting headaches. And like he had to tack side to side just so they didn't die. And like, I mean, that kind of brings up another side of this stuff that we don't talk about much, but like there's boat explosions from fumes building up in a bilge all the time. You see it in the news, I feel like damn near every week during boating season. And then like there's the unfortunate times where people die at the back of the boats from carbon monoxide poisoning. Like we don't mention that. You'll never see that in our marketing or in our selling points. But like imagine if electric boats were just out there killing people left and right. And it's like, you make a simple mistake of not turning on a blower and your boat explodes. And that's just accepted as normal. Like these things would never sell.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few on social media. Qualified captains posted a few. I'm sure you're full.
It's unfortunate. And it's a simple mistake, and it's just like, oh, he was in a hurry after fueling, or God forbid he had a leaking gas line, and now like people are flying 20, 30 feet in the air, and some people might die. Like and people just accept it like, oh yeah, made a mistake.